What's up? I'm Grizz. Welcome for the 19th installment of Nonstop Pain Saga, Season 2 specifically. I'm rather curious exactly how we're gonna play in this battle, in this war that we're about to go into. I have no clue how they really planning to kind of go about it. Considering Leaf is now able to just kind of take Thorfinn and do whatever he wants with him at this point, it's just a matter of what they want to do with Arnheid, if they want to stay here and protect so that she doesn't end up dying, if they want to try and get out of here before anything really goes down. What's going to happen there? Are we going to see both sides if they did end up deciding to split and maybe they're able to take her while this other battle's going on? Like I said before, I think if I made a prediction, Kettle's going to end up passing at some time throughout this battle, and that's the only way that we're going to be able to get Arnheid out of here. But at the same time, she might not end up making it, so I don't really know. I'm not very excited to see what happens. Feel like it all, hit the like and subscribe to me, and all that to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave any comments about this episode or series, as well as recommend other things for me to watch. Let's go one though. Episode 19. Yeah, men in war. Ah, yes, the battle. They got everyone hyped up, that's for sure. So we must fight. We're not free ourselves, are we? Wow. That's one hell of a way to get people motivated. That's valid, yeah. Oh. It's a cool ass shot. Turns his back away from the violence. What about her? People can change, brother. Not like last time. I'm staying. Uh-oh.
アルネイズを移動させることは可能でしょうか。いや、今は慎重にすべきかと。意識が戻れば容体もわかるのですが、正直、私にも今は彼女の状態を判断し、あと1日だけこのまま様子を見ましょう。
Just for one day. Something tells me she's not gonna make it through that day. We'll decide then, one day at a time. Here they come. Let's go. They don't seem as energetic as they were the night before. That's alright. Oh, my bad. Okay, they're on fire. Oh no. We're down like half our men. We just started. That's so funny for some reason. Alright, cleared them off the water. Now we stormed the beach. Move out.
以上の理由により、クヌート王陛下は反逆者ケティルとその一族に対し、今日より10年間の平和喪失処分をお命じになられた。本来死を賜るが妥当の罪状であるところ、ケティル一族を生かしおきくださるわ。
Yeah, of course, due to his kindness. Justifications. Just accept your punishment and all will be forgiven. How can we lose hundreds of dudes without even fighting? There's about 100 warriors. That's not that bad. We can take that. Except they're all very skilled and you guys aren't. Nope, he was probably just very confident in what's gonna happen. Yeah, about that. It's 100 of the biggest fucking... Yeah. So practically the equivalent to like 400 or 500 dudes.
ビルさんくらい強え
Mm-hmm.
じゃあそれ
And we have one of those guys.
この絵に
They have 100 of them. No.
なんだお前見たことねえのかよあれがヨーク選手なんだお前がそんなに目見開いたの初めて見たお前ら逃げたきゃ逃げろクヌートーは逃げる時間を用意してくれてるあ兄貴はどうするんで
I'm gonna fight, but I'm not gonna
俺は
die.
指揮官だ逃げてどうする
Yep.
あの350人のお調子乗りどもなるべく死なせねえように
What a fucking guy.
こう縛り上げて
No, no,
引き
no,
渡しちまい
no.
ましょう
We
よ
don't trade
そう
over
だ
here.
そうすりゃ戦争しねえで済むトールギルさんも縛るの
Yeah.
ビビンじゃねえよ8人係だったらなんとかなる
That'd be close.
トールギルさんだけじゃねえ音に聞こえた鉄拳ケティルだ
Yeah, yeah, that
すでに離陸をし
fraud.
た武勇伝は知ってるだろ
鉄拳か
That's
鉄拳のことならよく知
about the softest man I ever heard.
15、6の頃に出会った
Ah.
俺に戦場の流儀を教えてくれた
So not
マ
Kettle.
ジでめちゃくちゃ強
I'm assuming Snake told the story to Kettle, and then it he just took over for it in a way, or claimed it as his own.
いならかくまってくれると思ってよわずかな噂を頼りにこの農場まで逃げてきたんだ
Mm-hmm.
ところがよやっとの思いでた
It
どり
was
着い
just
た
a
と思
peaceful
ったら
farm.
なんだお前はわしに言おうか
全くの別人だったんだ語ってんだよ、
うんうん
あの旦那はたまたま名前が同じなのをいいことにな
Gotcha.
ずいぶんただ飯を食わせてもらった
Time I earned something.
そろそろ
Yep.
飯代を払わないとな
Pay back everything in which he's kind of earned over these years or been given.
捧げるには値しねえペテン野郎だってことだ
I'd recommend you run away, but I got some shit to repay. I really hope he pops the fuck off on them, dude. But they look up to him. So they're gonna come along. Yep. Forever together, brothers in arms.
かっこつけんなバカどもが
Let's go,
俺らな
boys.
んか飯代を払う暇もなく死ぬっての
Let's fucking go! This is like properly staged and everything, not like anything that we've seen from the whole first season of battles.
背後を全く気にしてね
Guess this is time to see what Torgal's really made of
ま
here.
ともな軍隊がいねえのを知ってやがるんだこれをどう攻める
Just take him head on.
野手ってのは上等な戦士のやることだ素人どもにゃ
We don't have those kind of special abilities here.
なんでそんな
As bait, we take trades.
ど素人め決まってんだろそんなもん100数える間、王の注意を引いてもらうため
Omar really gets to see like the development here of how this shit really goes, and he seems terrified that we're just kind of offering up lives and everything for this. It's great.
旦那最後の忠告ですやったら負けますよ
しつこいぞヘビこの鉄拳ケテルがあんな若造に何一つ劣るものか、
Yeah, he absolutely was.
撃て
There we go. I like how like well planned and coordinated these battles always end up being. So what is our plan? Are we trying to sneak our nade out?
両軍戦闘の真っ最中だ
That's exactly what we're doing.
ゆっくりなるべく揺らさないように
Not gonna be easy. I don't think she's gonna make it.
そうだよね
I'm stealing a woman. This
に
is.
するなそうの金は置いてきた
He still tried
やる
to.
ときはやるんすね旦那様にお別れを言えなかった
Yeah, I didn't even think about Sparkle. He's done so much for you too. All the way into the night. Ugh. Oh no, she's having those moments now too. You already know what this means. The vision of two.
するな。時期にこの暗い森を。
Why they do this to us every time?
ここは痛みと絶望の吹き溜まり。
As in the forest or the
獣
world?
たちの森だ。
I guess the forest could be described that way though. Mm-hmm.
長く苦しい旅だったな。でもその苦しみももうすぐ終わる。
This pain will be over very soon. A lot sooner than you realize.
それでもまだいるわ
They.
ここで
Mm,
生き抜こうとする命
yeah. Taking on that challenge head on and aren't running from it.
彼らにお世話になった者たちに
Mm.
別れを伝えてくるといい。ここで子供たちと待っているよ。
One last time. Damn. Flashback in. Open eyes for the last time.
なるさ
That's a hell of a fucking cut. Slowly walk him down. They got a plan, brother. Oh, we swimming. We on the flank. No time to bitch and complain. Where's Torgal? Oh, he specifically sent you? Wow. Oh no, he's going to. Never mind. Yeah, he's on that flank. A fucking animal, dude. Right in your sights. Will they feel your presence, though? Alright, be quiet. Relax. Why are we gonna cut it there, though? The war has begun and multiple strategies of sneaking around other people and getting away from others and running away or doing whatever you have to do have also been put into action here. A rather straightforward, simplistic episode, I would state. I would say it's very understandable based on everything that we've learned from these characters after so long, exactly why they're feeling the certain ways they are and why exactly they're doing the things that they are and the direction in which they're headed, right? I think it all kind of overlaps with each other and makes perfect sense, and there's no real underlying thing. The only real thing I would state that was like new or like really came to life for us is the idea of Kettle's past and Snake's past in a way, and learning about how Snake was young when he met this guy, Iron Fist Kettle, and had a connection to him almost, and he kind of followed him in a way, and when something happened over throughout Snake's life and he kind of needed to get away and he needed to find a place to go, and he had nowhere else to really turn to, he went to go find this guy that he looked up to in a way, and he was led to Kettle's farm, which is where he ends up being here now, and he has to, I'm assuming, explain the story in which why he ended up here and who exactly he was looking for. And the Kettle that we know now is, you know, the one who ended up claiming this name, and he ended up taking it over for himself. So it's not necessarily a lie as I was initially thinking, and he just kind of made up the story. It's literally just he took somebody else's name on something else that was going around. So this rumor still holds truth. And there's people from generations probably who have heard of this name or some shit before, right? Like there's people who've been to battle and to war who've heard this name, and it's not all through the word of Torgal kind of spreading it, or all not through the word of like Omar or something, right? It specifically is a real thing and comes from somebody, but he just coined this term to show the fraud that he really is, and we've been able to learn that over time, specifically him self-admitting the fact that he is and that he's never been to battle and any of that, but also the fraud of a person that he is in the way that he holds and presents himself early on, to the point that he completely snapped last episode, and we see this actual like side of him kind of come out, and the aggressor in him that kind of presented itself then. The result of this, we end up getting to see or understand at least the reasonings in behind why Snake is still here, why Snake is still battling despite telling his men that they can run away and not to fight because they're not going to win this no matter what. And understanding the fact that he feels because he was taken in when he had nothing and he's been given something here in a free ride basically, and he hasn't had to pay anything. And he's been able to do anything that he wants really and learn all these life lessons. Why should he run away basically? And he has to repay his debts in some sort of way. So if standing here and fighting with his life on the line in these situations is the reasons for that, he's going to go ahead and do it, which is very admirable, I would say. And Snake is somebody who I've had my disagreements with, sure, specifically I guess regarding the things that he's done with trying to not let Gardar and Arnate escape and everything that he's done, but he's always had valid reasons if you just think about it for a few minutes about exactly why he's doing these things and the direction that he's trying to go and just everything that he kind of stands for in a way. And it's very respectable exactly why he is the way that he is, and you can really see how much the guys that he works with have respect for him and kind of stand up for him, and the fact that he is openly keeps telling them to leave and not be bothered with this battle because they're going to end up losing their lives and there's no point to fight it. But once he kind of gives his reasons and feels like he has something to give back, these guys also feel like they have something to give back in a way for everything that they've learned from Snake and him being the boss for so long, and the way that he's kind of just treated them in a way, also to live up to what their title is of being kind of protectors in a way and doing whatever they have to. But it was nice to see just how strong of an impact he kind of has on them and how much they truly trust in him to follow him and do what he has to, despite them not wanting to actually participate in these fights and everything going on. So cool dynamic and relationship that they all kind of have going on there. Also learning specifically on Canute's front and his army's front how they're only sending 100 men as opposed to about 300 guys that we have fighting for us here on Kittle's farm. And I was wondering why exactly they would be fighting for him, like what exactly would happen, because initially I was thinking we would just have the 8 other people, the 8 people working under Snake, like if we would have them working together here, and that would literally be our only army. But I guess they can get all the retainers and everybody involved here, and specifically because everybody's here kind of trying to pay off a debt or trying to do something, so Kettle can use that to bargain himself in a way. And I don't remember if they said it was Torgal who made that decision or Kettle, or it doesn't really matter, I guess, but the fact that he was able to present those ideas to them and be like, look, I'll do this for you, I'll wipe everything clean if you guys win this, if you bring me the king's head, if you do whatever, like I'll give you what you want, trying to give some motivation for them and reason for them wanting to fight, and how he was able to get them so pumped up and ready to engage in this, which was actually pretty smart. Motivation and giving rewards, just positive reinforcement in a way of anything can kind of really drive somebody and really give you that motivation, give you that extra push to make you want to go and up your level even more, which is really clever and cool to see for him to kind of take that approach here. Now, the thing that they aren't aware of, and specifically the guys involved weren't aware of, was the fact that they are fighting the king's army. So that's a big, issue. They probably would have all backed out if they hadn't known something like that. But also the fact that these aren't ordinary guys, and Kettle's kind of blind to this as well, specifically due to the fact that he's never really been involved in any of this, so he doesn't understand. But they are very, very strong. They're literally the top, as high as you can get, basically top tier soldiers, and they're not going to back down for anything, and they're as strong as practically a Torgal is, and maybe even like Snake or something. So technically you have like 2 guys fighting against 100 here in this situation, or the equivalent of your 300 men is equivalent to like 1,000 of them or something. Like it doesn't add up. The math is not there for you, despite you thinking you have a number advantage because of what you do. Now, what you do have the advantage in when it comes to the numbers is the fact that you can use the overwhelming amount of people that they're going to have to go through and the tactics that they're going to have to do to get through all of you to your advantage and as a distraction in a way, which is exactly what Torgal kind of does, showing us that he isn't just this complete musclehead of a guy who just goes and is violent with everything without thinking strategy or anything. And he's able to form this plan of him and Olmar kind of sneaking up by swimming and getting in behind Canute and everything where they're kind of guarding him, because instead of guarding him like in a central place in a way, they're kind of guarding him towards the back and leaving that exposed, so if they can come up through the water, because they expect the water is not really something that people are going to go through, they can kind of come up behind them, which is nice that we were able to see a strategy like that being formed. And we get to see at the end of Torgal kind of coming together here as he fully makes it to his location and gets excited as he sees Canute kind of unguarded in a way with only 2 dudes around him, and fully expects himself to get through and not really have have any issues here. Olmar, on the other hand, seems to be given up, and he seems to have come back to shore. Now, it did look like the exact location that he started at, so maybe he turned around midway through, or maybe he just didn't make it and he washed up ashore somewhere else, or maybe that was his ideal location to land at. I don't really know what was going on, but he seemed like somebody who said that he couldn't do it. Now, I don't know if he meant he couldn't actually get in there and kill the king himself, or if he couldn't actually swim long enough and he couldn't actually put himself in that position to get himself like amped up in a way that he wants to go and fight and actually do anything. Probably not, because as we've seen after he killed his first guy, he still doesn't seem like he's built for battle or any of that. And I think Olmar's fully now realizing it after being put in this actual position that he isn't built for this and he shouldn't be the one doing this. I like the way that they presented the war and everything too. It was very like, I guess like history lesson, like Revolutionary War type of like setup of two dudes on like edges of like a hill or like a big land or something, and then charging at once to like each other. It's very interesting. It wasn't the standard we're just gonna attack them when we see them type of things. It was like proper setup until somebody else attacks, we don't, and then we all go at the same time kind of thing. Like it was cool to kind of see them do like a full big scale battle, which we really, I feel like, haven't seen specifically with this show so far. So that's really, really nice to see. On the other side of things, more Thorfinn focused in his story, we're kind of following the idea that they are trying to escape with Leif and trying to get out of here. But the issue is they don't want to leave Arnheid behind. And Leif is also understanding that she is somebody that's important to him, but more importantly, important to somebody such as Einar, and who is very close to Thorfinn. So for that reason, she's somebody that we kind of have to do whatever we can to take along. So we kind of come up together with this plan specifically regarding the idea that we're going to take everybody, her specifically and everybody else that's coming along with us, and we're going to try and sneak out of here once everybody gets distracted due to the battle that we're in, which works perfectly. I mean, it really does. I'm assuming there's going to be issues, as we'll get into in a second, regarding this, but it makes perfect sense that nobody else is kind of sticking around, and you're using every single person on this land except for Sverkel, who literally couldn't fight if he tried. So everybody else is kind of going back and battling together. So it makes sense that you can kind of just escape here. Along the way, we see Thorfinn kind of question his position and stuff a little bit, and not wanting to fight and hating the idea that all these guys kind of have to fight and commence in this war and everything, but probably realizing this is more of an appropriate thing that he needs to do. And he's taking the right step for himself by turning his back on Snake and everybody who was watching, as we saw that scene at the beginning, and he turns his back and walks away, which is a big step in the right direction opposed to what it used to be in the past. Thorfinn and Einar talk a little bit regarding the fact that they weren't able to say goodbye to Sverkel, which is very unfortunate. And speaking of goodbyes, we get a look inside of Arnheid as we kind of see this flash where she has her husband still riding her on the horse and riding her in the carriage in the back, and her kind of looking down as she has two kids with her. I'm assuming this is Leif had things worked out on this village in this farm where she had her other son still, and she has her new son that she unfortunately had to have with Kettle, and she was able to still get out and get together with her husband and be able to escape and live life peacefully with these two children and everything. I'm assuming that's kind of the vision in which she was flashing to here, and she was kind of envisioning almost like a perfect future in a way, like if things had all kind of gone correct, and even if it wasn't, if it was actually the two of their kids or something, like it was just something that she wishes, like a situation that could have been, that never actually was able to come to. Fun little idea and stuff that we were talking about too was showing the animals in the forest after we talk about the forest itself is just filled with pain and despair and everything involved with it. And I think that's a interesting idea because it's specifically regarding the forest or the land in which you were stayed on before and all the bad things that have come about to it. And that's why you're leaving and you're trying to venture into this new light and trying to find a better place or create a better place or something, which relates strongly back to what Thorfinn is talking about and what he wants to do. But I think it also can be applied to specifically just this world and life and everything that they're involved in, and how she's going towards the outside of this dark forest into the light, almost as if this is her final moments, and she's escaping all the pain and despair and everything that she is involved with, and to say, as her husband says, be thankful and, you know, make sure you say your thanks to the people who continue to stay here afterwards and continue to do the hard things that maybe you weren't able to, or put you in a position to protect you or do something or give you the things that you were able to have throughout life. And you have to make sure that you can get back and thank them, right? Which once again can be applied to this specific situation. I have to thank Thorfinn. I have to thank Einar. I have to thank Sverkel. I have to thank like everybody who kind of helped me and put me in these positions. But I also have to thank just literally everybody in my life ever who's kind of done something, or thanks to the people who are fighting for the things that are correct, or the things I also stand by here that are staying here after I'm the one to be gone. And in that exact moment, unsurprisingly, see her kind of open her eyes for one last time to say goodbye. and we kind of cut out there, and we had a beautiful cut of it, just absolutely just right back into the middle of the war, as if it's like never ending, and it's kind of just jump right back into it despite the peaceful moment that you were just having. But I'm assuming that conversation is interesting because I think we can go a route where we don't actually see Arne pass, and we just cut to them later and they talk about how she passed. But we could also see us go back and her actually finish and give her thanks in that final conversation. But it also could have been a perfect spot for them just to kind of cut and be like, it's over, as we see somebody literally get killed in that moment. And she tried, she gave all of her courage, but we weren't able to see that final moment, or she just didn't have enough in her to say thank you for the final time, right? Regardless, this is her final moments for sure. There's no saving her in a way. This is kind of it, and she's kind of done for. It is what it is, unfortunately. We were kind of expecting that moment of her death in a way that they did it doesn't hit nearly as hard as I think the one with Gardar did, but I also don't think that they were setting it up in a way to feel as sad or to hit the same way. So I think it's okay the way it was done. Maybe if we do venture into the idea of her actually saying goodbyes and finishing like that, we can bring something forward like that, but that might also not be what we're going for, as we've already done that once. Moving forward, I'm assuming, like I said, she's going to pass, and that's going to result in us having to get out, but I'm assuming Thorfinn, Einar, everybody's going to escape. Which is interesting, because if they do escape, what exactly would our final 4 or 5 episodes be here? Would it just be this battle, but then we don't have much Thorfinn? Well, I guess we could have wrap-up of Thorfinn going back with Leif, maybe back to his home and seeing his family or something, or just kind of venturing out and to figure out what they want to do with their lives now that they are free. I don't think we'd be opposed to that. I also wouldn't be against the idea, or I think it's entirely possible, actually, that instead of us doing this, Thorfinn takes into the idea of saying goodbyes one final time and actually rushes back to the village while everybody's still going to say his goodbyes and his thanks to everything to Sverkel himself, and maybe trying to get Sverkel out of here. Regardless, we know he's kind of done for anyways, but just that person inside of him and trying to protect and save somebody, maybe that could be a case as well, and Thorfinn finds himself stuck back on this land or something for a little bit longer. I don't know exactly the situation, and then I'm assuming he's going to break free. I just really would like him to go back specifically so that maybe we have the encounter with Canute, because I really want to have them to interact one final time at least this season. So I don't know. I think I'm more so rooting for something like that. But if they do just want to get out and leave, I'm all for that too. That makes perfect sense, and I wouldn't be opposed for them doing that. The battle will probably continue next episode. I wouldn't even be shocked if the episode next time is just called Battle of Catel's Farm 2, and they're just going to keep it going until they're done with it. I'm assuming next episode would probably be enough to wrap up the fight as well, which is going to see the King's army completely take over and win. And I'm assuming we're also going to get to see Canute fight himself, as Torgal's going to pop up and probably kill his 2 protectors behind him, and we're going to have to see Canute end up battling somehow, and maybe he'll impress us, maybe he won't, and maybe somebody else will come in like Thorfinn from my example before and kind of protect Canute in a way. I don't even know. I'd be interested just what the fuck the route that they decide to take here is going to be, but I think there's different options that they can go here, and I really don't think any of them are going to be wrong or could necessarily be bad, so I'm interested to see kind of how that goes. The only real hope I have is that Ketil dies. I really want him gone. Also for Snake to be okay, and for him to feel like he can get out of here, and maybe him come along with us and kind of venture into this new life here that he has with Thorfinn and everybody. That'd be cool, because Snake's really dope, and I would love for us to get more of him at some other point. But if that doesn't happen and he feels he needs to stay, or he ends up losing his life or something here, interested to see the way it goes. Absolutely love the show, though. This was a bit more tame of an episode regarding some of that stuff, but we actually got to see some violence and fighting too, which was cool. But I am just really curious the route that they want to head next here, and excited for what comes next. Thank you very much if you watched this and you made it to this point. If you liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and my anime list. Both links are in the description. Check out the other videos on the channel. Leave any comments about this episode or the series in general, as well as please recommend other things that you might want to see me watch at some other point. I will be back for episode 20 next week. You guys have a good one, and see ya.